thank you very much for inviting me to speak today. I've had a lot of adventures making all my books. And it all began many years ago when I wanted to see the mountain gorillas in Rwanda in Africa. When I came face to face with a very large mountain gorilla, that moment changed my life and my career. Because when I came down the mountain, my guide said there were only 600 mountain gorillas left in the whole world. 600 left in the whole world. I thought that was so sad. And I thought, I want to start making books for children on endangered animals. I'd been trained in advertising as a designer, and I thought, I can do this. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be. I didn't want to have a book about animals that were cartoon or illustrations. I wanted to make a book about real animals. And that meant I had to learn to be a wildlife photographer. I have a friend in Africa called Carl Mann, who's a very famous wildlife photographer. And I got his advice on how I should go about this. He said to me something quite odd. He said, don't go and learn photography. Don't go and take any lessons. You have to fly back to Africa and you have to learn in the wild. And after that one experience with the mountain gorilla, 21 books have followed since that experience. Carl was quite wonderful, guiding me through everything. And one day we were walking in the bush, and I just stopped to fiddle with my camera, and he kept walking. And then when I looked up, I saw a cheetah walking towards me, and I thought, oh, what'll I do? And I turned around and Carl just went, get down. And I knew I had to be calm, and the cheetah just flopped in the grass nearby. On the next trip, I said, Carl, cheetahs are territorial. Can we try and find that cheetah again? So we walked in the same area, and then I heard this deep, throaty purring. I gave my camera to Carl. I turned around, and the cheetah came towards me, and this wonderful, magic moment in my life happened. The cheetah allowed me to put my hand on its throat, just to feel the intense vibration of her purring, and that was really very, very special. Cheetahs really aren't dangerous cats if you're calm. And I certainly was calm. I thought it was the most magic moment of my life. I've had a few strange adventures. Let's talk about Muse before I go on. This is a little chimp called Muse. That is Carl's chimp that he rescued in the Congo from being eaten. And he was great. He taught me so much about how I should behave when I was with primates. So when I went to Borneo twice to make a book on the lovely orangutans, I knew how I should be behaving. One day I was with my guide, and I was sitting on a log waiting for the orangutans to come down and get their banana supplements. These were orangutans that had been released into the wild, and the bananas were put on platforms. And all of a sudden there was this crashing through the trees, and this huge male orangutan with great big cheek pads came onto the platform, and all the orangutans disappeared into the forest. And I said to my guide, what's happening? And he said, oh, this is a very aggressive orangutan. What do I do to keep myself safe? I asked nervously. And he said, there's a triangle of trees over there. So if anything happens, just stand in the middle. I wasn't so sure about that. But I started taking this big orangutan's photographs with my big long lens. And he kept staring at me. I was aware of some tourists coming through the rainforest, and I kept taking the orangutan's photograph, and he kept staring at me. All of a sudden, through the lens, I could see all his muscles tense up, and he charged. The tourists screamed and ran everywhere, and I couldn't get to the safety of the trees. When I don't know what to do, I think it's safer to stand perfectly still. 130 kilos of barreling red hair came flying past me, and it took me a while to recover. And I looked around for my guide, and he's laughing. And I thought, why are you laughing? That was terrifying. And he said, look behind you. There was a pretty female orangutan just behind me. So the male was looking at her the whole time. So I've been to Africa 11 times, following the wild animals. I've been to Borneo, been to Uganda for Dr. Jane Goodall's chimpanzees, Sri Lanka for the elusive leopard, and India for the tiger, and the mountains of China for pandas. And I got to play with all the little babies, which was wonderful. Pandas are very, very funny animals. And then I wanted to make a book about the adorable sloths. For 5 years, I searched where in the world I could fly to photograph them. And after 5 years of searching, there was a place in Costa Rica. So I went and photographed these adorable creatures. They just made me smile all the time. This is really my happy, happy book. When I was making my latest book, which is Adventures in the Wild, with all those other books, there was years and years and years of research. And when I went on a trip, I was armed with all the photographs I was hoping I was going to get, my wish list of photographs I wanted to get in the wild to tell the animal story. But in March last year, I was recovering from an illness, and I thought, I just want to get on a plane, go to my favorite camps in Africa, and just wait for the magic to happen every day. So this is what the book is all about. Being alone, living in a tent, going out each day and allowing the magic to happen.